Friends, neighbors, my fellow Americans. Today, our country faces an economic crisis and burden unparalleled by any in its 240-year history. The national debt has soared beyond $19 trillion and continues to rise. If we do not act, the burden on us and on future generations will crush aspirations for all but the most privileged among us of ever fulfilling the American dream. I come before you today to ask you for your vote. I stand on a platform of thoughtful but aggressive economic reforms that can and will put our nation back on track. Here is how I propose that we make that happen. I will begin by imposing a 10% flat tax rate for income for individuals in the United States with a slightly higher 16% flat tax rate for businesses. Now, what a flat tax rate will do is it will ensure that every person and every business will contribute their fair share to the economic growth of our country. The simplicity of the code will eliminate the loopholes that have allowed the rich, the wealthy, and the most successful of businesses to skirt around tax codes and owe much less than they should. And more importantly, a flat tax rate will ensure that every individual and every business is taxed according to their level of income. If you make a very small amount, your 10% will be a small amount of contribution to your government. If you are a wealthy individual and you take in a large amount of money, your 10% will still be a much larger amount of money, but it will be equal in proportion. It is fair according to your income. Now, according to the Tax Foundation of Washington, D.C., this particular proposal of a flat tax would contribute to a growth in our GDP of 13.9%. It would create 4.8 million jobs in our country due to the economic breathing room that it would create. And most importantly, for you, my fellow American, it would contribute to a 14% increase in after-tax wages by the end of this decade. Folks, a flat tax will propose many advantages to you. Now, our nation would see an increase in tax income, but for that to make any kind of difference, we must also control the wild and unrestrained spending that our National Congress has put in place. I would begin, first of all, by digging up, resurrecting Senate Bill 39, affectionately known as the No Budget, No Pay Bill, that would impose serious penalties on congressmen and women who simply stall budget meetings and stall the passing of a national budget for the American people. Once that bill is passed, I would put a plan on the table for budget reform that includes a 12.5% reduction in spending beyond our projected income per year for 8 years. Just the same amount of time that I would intend to be in office as your president. Now, if this plan were to pass, by the year 2024, our spending would no longer exceed our national income. And then at that point, our country would be able to decide how it will begin to pay off that debt. Now, granted, I'm in favor of a plan that would balance our budget immediately. However, I understand that we must gradually work into solutions. There are no quick answers, there are no easy answers, but my budget reforms would ensure that America would be on track in the years to come. Finally, we must make sure that our futures are secure. And so many look to Social Security as the way that they ensure their retirement income. But we must privatize Social Security before it collapses completely. Now, if you've had a chance to look at Social Security income, or if you know someone who earns their wages from Social Security, you understand that benefits continue to decrease for those that are on the program, and the demand for wages continues to increase as we have so many more that are of age to receive the benefits here in the United States. Now, even worse, the rate of return on Social Security investments is between 2 and 3% for average wage earners, according to a research study from Reuters. 2 to 3% return on investment is barely enough to keep us above the rate of inflation here in the United States. Meanwhile, Private investments, such as funds in the S&P 500, are consistently earning average returns of 8 to 12%. Must I ask you, what is the difference? We need to put our investments in the hands of those who are going to be using them. We must allow the American people to take their investments and put them into mutual funds or other things that will begin to give them a much greater return on their investment. We must privatize Social Security and give those who are unfamiliar with investments the opportunity to learn and choose where their money is going to go instead of seeing a pathetic rate of return and dwindling assets as they continue to age. Folks, the future is in our hands. If we continue down this path, America may never recover from the weight of its debt. And I fear that our children, maybe even our children's children, will face the worst of what we have done with our income in the United States. I want to guarantee you that a vote for me is a vote for a new start. It is a vote for a chance to turn around the economic pattern that we have seen playing out before us. It is a chance to see America flourish once again. Thank you.